Hi Book so I'm back. So the next two videos you're going to see is the 2025 books, or the 2025 releases that I really want to read. And these are going to be my combination of my books I really want to read by the end of the year. However, if you know anything about me, I tend to read a little bit differently than most people. I do listen to audiobooks, I do read physically, and I try to read on my Kindle. But what I read on all of those things is a little bit different. So when I listen to audiobooks, it's mostly romance and thrillers and mysteries. And when I physically read, it's mostly fantasy with some other stuff tossed in, but mostly it's all fantasy. So I definitely get through my audio TBR a lot faster, like the romances and the thrillers, because I just have a lot more listening time in the year. But physically wise, I do tend to have a pretty impressive TBR. But those books, I just tend to read slower because I normally need to take my time with them and read them slowly. While as with the audios, I tend to read them through audiobooks, and I just tend to get through those faster. So today's video we're going to focus on is all like the fantasy books. These are books that I don't have any physical arcs of. That's why they're all on this list, because I have to like... And again, I do get book boxes, so I get Fairy Loot and Owl Crate. I get both boxes. I get the Owl Crate full box, and then I get the Fairy Loot, like, just like the books from those. And then I get the Owl Crate adult. So very rarely do I buy straight out, like fantasy books, like pre-order them, because I have two chances of getting, you know, them in fancy boxes, and those editions are always prettier. But I do make a pre-order list in late December. That's like all of my romances or thrillers or books that like I don't think that they're going to be in book boxes, so I can like add them to my TBR. So we're going to do this, and I'm going to eventually do a video kind of going over my TBR game that's going to actually include these lists. So yeah, let's get into it. The first book you are going to see me chat about is Wooing the Witch Queen by Stephanie Burgess, and I'll attach this here. This book is supposed to come out in February 18th, and it is a gaslit world where hags and ogres lurk in the thick pine forest. Three magical queens form an uneasy alliance to protect their lands from the invasion, and love turns their world upside down. So I have read books by this author before. I read her Claws and Contrivacy series that I have really enjoyed, so I'm excited to see another book set from this author again, so I'm really excited for that. And then the next book we are going to chat about, and again, these will be a combination of YA and adult, just to be very honest. The next book I'm really excited about comes out in August, and it's A Spell to Wake the Dead by Nicola Spiris. I'll attach a photo here. And this is the summary that I found on Goodreads. Is two teens girls must solve the dark occult secrets lurking in their Cape Town town to solve the murders and save themselves from the same fate in this twisty, witchy thriller. I'm very tempted to pre-order this, but I'm probably going to wait until ALA because this is a book that might pop up there. If I'm pre-ordering stuff, it's probably not going to be after July, because I have a shot at getting it at ALA, and that's normally what I do. But anything that comes out before July, I may pre-order if a book looks pretty enough for me. The next book that I'm really excited to chat about is Mistress of Bones by Maria Z. Medina. This comes out in August, and I'm going to attach the photo here. And according to Goodreads, this is an epic romantic debut adventure fantasy where a necromancer's trying to resurrect her sister gets embroiled in a bigger world-ending plans instead. And as you could see in this cover, it is stunning. Stunning. So even if this book does get like pick per book box, I may just get the pretty cover anyway. So some of these covers are just pretty, like regardless of what any special edition do, so those may get bought, but very, very pretty, and I do like that summary a lot. The next book I'm going to chat about is Cruel is the Light by Sophia Clark. This comes out in May from NOF Book for Young Readers, and here's this pretty photo. I do like this photo as well. And this May release is an epic new fantasy about a demon hunter and a foot soldier thrown together in a century-old war and the forbidden love that could change the course of history. So that sounds really, really cool. And then the next book I am going to chat about is Deadly Grimm by Catherine Purdy. This is the second book in the Forest Grimm series. I will attach a photo here. It may change, but this is what the summary is. I read The Forest Grimm like a year ago and really did like it, and this is a spellbinding sequel to the best-selling Clara and Axel must return to the forest and its monsters if they have any hope of finally breaking the curse on their village. So, I really did like Forest Grimm a lot, so I'm excited to see what the conclusion of this duology is. And the next book is The Gods, Time Forgot. This is a book coming out from Alcove Press in April 2025. Here is the photo of this. I did actually meet this author at Comic-Con. She wasn't there like signing or anything, but she was there. And I saw the picture and I was like, oh my goodness, I need to get this book in my hands. So here's the cover. And then the summary is Irish mythology collides with Gilded Age New York in this sweeping debut. Enemies to lovers, historical romantasy, perfect for fans of Outlander and a fate inked in blood. So I'm intrigued by that, but this cover is stunning. So that is why it is on this list. Okay, this is another book that I almost got at Comic-Con, but I didn't. But it's What Wakes the Bells by Ellie Tesh. This book comes out in March 11th, 2025. Here is the pretty cover, and let's go over the summary. Inspired by an anonymous Prague legend, What Wakes the Bells is a lavish gothic fantasy debut by Ellie Tesh. It's perfect for fans of Adeline Grace, Margaret Rogerson, and B.E. Schwab. And the cover looks really, really pretty. So, definitely going to add that to the TBR. Sometimes fate is such a fickle thing. So I found this book when I was kind of scrolling through lists just to kind of make all my lists. And the next book that really interested me was The Witch's Roads by Kate Elliott. It's so funny because this book literally like was probably written before Marvel's like the Agnes All Along, but it's just funny that it's called The Witch's Road, and that was like such a big plot point in that. But this book comes out in June 10th, 2025, and here's the pretty cover. And the summary is status is hereditary, class is bestowed, trust must be earned. Ooh. So that's one that I really do want to read. And again, I'm probably going to hold out to see if there is like a special edition. But this cover is also super pretty as well. So that's actually really exciting. Okay, and then another one is another sequel that I'm really excited for is Emily Wilde's Compendium of Fairies. This is book 3 in the Emily Wilde series. I will attach a pretty photo. And this is the third installment in that series where, you know, scholar and two scholars and a folklore and a fae prince, their adventures together. And I really did like book 2. I think I'm going to probably listen to this book as well. So this might be one of my listening books because I found book 1 a little bit boring. I like book 2 listening. I could also just do a re-listen to all this over the holidays, so I'm ready because this book comes out in February 11th, though it's a little bit later. The other ones came out in January. And the next book I'm going to chat about is The Lost Queen by Amy Fan. This book comes out in May, and I will attach a photo here. Another really, really stunning cover. This book is a heroine like no other, an ancient magic unleashed, a fated epic battle. The first book in an enchanting YA fantasy duology inspired by Vietnamese lore, weaving magic, sisterhood, and self-discovery. You had me at all of those things. It comes out in May. The cover is stunning. I'm intrigued. And then the next book that I'm going to talk to you about is Celestial Banquet by Rosalind Lim. This book comes out June the 3rd. I will attach a pretty photo here if I have one. And this summary really intrigued me right off the bat. It was Iron Chef meets the Hunger Games in a Rosalind Lim dazzling YA fantasy debut, following a young noodle chef who must compete in a cutthroat cooking competition for the gods. that sounds really interesting and really unique, and I'm not sure I've ever read a summary like that before. But yeah, it comes out in June. And then the next book is another book that sounds really interesting. It's I'll Find You Where the Timeline Ends by Kylie Baker. This comes out in November 18th, 2025. So this is definitely a book that I'm probably going to wait for because it is coming out this is like the furthest book I have coming out so much later. But this is this is the pretty cover. This is when I saw this cover, I was like, oh, I need to get this. A teen descendant of a Japanese dragon and a god must find out the truth of what happened to the missing sister while trying not to fall in love with the rogue agent. Oh, that's going to be fun. Yeah, so I'm really excited for that one. And again, that comes out in November, so we have quite a wait for that one. But that might be one that I look for at Comic-Con. I mean, not Comic-Con, at ALA. And then the next book is a book that I actually am currently reading the first book in the series. It is Go Luck Yourself by Sarah Raj. This is the second book in the Royal series. And it is coming out in March 11th, right around St. Patrick's Day. And this is an enemies to lovers, sexy, delightful holiday mashup that pales the spare Prince of Christmas with the Crown Prince of St. Patrick's Day. That sounds adorable, so I really want to read that. I might have requested that on NetGalley. We'll see if I get it, but if not, I'm definitely going to pick it up when it comes out. And then the next book that is in my fantasy list is Steel and Spitfire by Laura A. Weymouth. This book comes out in July. I will attach a photo here. And this is Divine Riles meets the Witch Haven in this romantic young adult fantasy debut in which a powerful mage posing as a debutante during the court social scene must work with members of the royal guard to catch a killer with powers like her own. Ooh, that cover is also so pretty. Comes out in July. It's gonna be a book that I'm looking at for ALA, but if not, I may just buy myself a copy because that cover is stunning. And I have like books by her in the past. And the next book I'm going to chat about is The Bane Witch by Ava Morgan, and this comes out March 8th, 2025. I will attach a photo of this one here, but it sounds right up my alley. This is Practical Magic Meets Gone Girl in Ava Morgan's next deal spellbinding novel about a woman who is more than a witch, she is a hunter. This cover is really pretty as well. I'm really hoping I will get to read this one sooner rather than later because I do have a NetGalley arc of it. But the cover was very pretty, and that's why it's on this list. And then the next book we are going to chat about is The Beautiful Manning by Shara Anjar. This book comes out in June 3rd, and I have read books by this author in the past. She hasn't wrote a YA thing in a while. I think this is YA. Yeah, it is. So let's go over the summary. Comes a haunting romantic contemporary fantasy about a teen navigating her family love curse that blooms with their enchanted tulips every year. Ooh, that one sounds interesting. I have a book by Catherine Bankswell that has like a similar premise, so maybe I'll do a reading vlog where I read both of these, but that's really exciting. And again, a small reminder, it comes out June 3rd. So, all right. And then let's do the next one. Okay, this one was another one that, like, the cover sounds really interesting. I do have other books by this author that I have not read yet, but it's Dividing the Leaves by Sharat Thatka. It comes out in March 4th, 2025. I will attach a photo here, and then we will go over the summary. This is a beautifully imagined, according to Amazon, this is a beautifully imagined contemporary fantasy about two teens, one a believer in magic who yearns to belong, the other is skeptic searching for an escape, who finds himself embroiled in a twisty world of court intrigue where they venture into the forest ruled by yakshas, mysterious woodland spirits drawn from Hindu and Buddhist folklore. Very pretty. I really am hoping I can get this book a little bit early. I will be on the hunt for NetGalley, but the cover is stunning. I also want to read her other book a lot because one's about dream people. Maybe I'll put that on my Be the Backlist challenge because heaven knows I need some motivation to read it. So that is the plan for that. sorry, I was having a really hard time finding this book. Okay, the next one, it's not a shock. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but it's going to be Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. It's coming out June 21st, 2025. Everyone and their mother wants this book. I love Fourth Wing. I struggled with Iron Flame. I feel like I need to reread both of those books before this book comes out, so that might be an audio project in early 2025 or late 2024, but everyone and their mother is talking about it. Here is the pretty photo, and then we're going to move on to the next book, but here's the photo. The next book we're going to talk about is by Sanggu Mandana. I know this book was supposed to come out in 2024, and then it got pushed to 2025. So it is coming out April 29th, 2025. And here's this pretty cover. These covers are so pretty as normal. And this is an enchanting novel about a witch who has a second chance to get her magical powers and her life back on track. And alas, that sounds cute. I really hope I like this one. Again, comes out from Berkeley on April 29th, and I want to read this book because I've been waiting a while. And then the next book we are going to chat about is Fallen Gods by Rachel Van Dyken. This book comes out June 3rd, 2025. Here is a pretty cover. For once, the sprayed edges aren't doing it for me, like, visually, so I may not try to pre-order this. I may see if a book box does it, but the summer was interesting. I love anything about gods. That is my bread and butter. It's featured, you know what, doesn't really say anything, but it has to do with gods. I know that. And it doesn't, it's a Norwegian town, there's gods, that's really it. But the covers seem pretty, and Fallen Gods, the summary is not that. It's normally like a quick sentence, but there is nothing here. But it's about gods. I'm going to pick it up. It's coming out June. It'll be on my list. And now I'll talk about the next book. The next book on my fantasy TBR is Illusions of Fire by Nish Sharma. This is a stunning book. It comes out February 11th. Here is this pretty cover. And then we will go over the summary. This book is beyond stunning. I don't even know what it's about, to be very honest. But it's about demons. A lifelong paranormal fantasy fan brings her hilarity and hit to genres. She grew up inspired by Buffy. Charmed, Supernatural, Illusion of Fire is a homage to those works, showcasing a powerful female protagonist with tremendously responsibility expectations, trying to simply survive while delivering elite one-liners and falling in love with the wrong person. This cover, I don't know where I put it, is stunning. So, even if it doesn't get a pretty edition, this is coming home with me. I can tell you that. Stunning, 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 stunning. This is one of the books that I missed at Yellowfest, and I'm really bitter about it. But that's okay. And then the next book we are going to talk about is, and again, a small reminder, this book comes out on February 11th. We don't have that long of a wait. But the next book we're talking about is The Baby Dragon Cafe, and I will get to that in a second, but here's a pretty photo. So the next book on this list is just an adorable edition. It's called The Baby Dragon Cafe. It comes out July 1st, 2025. This book is definitely going to be on my shelves, like I'm telling you. It doesn't come out till July, and I'm going to definitely be on the hunt at ALA for it. But it is a cute, cozy fantasy, and honestly, the title had me at it, and yeah, that's like it. That's all I needed to know. That is all I needed to know. So, a baby dragon series. That is it. I don't need to know anything else. It's coming out July 1st, and I want it. That's all I can say. Going to come home with me. So yeah. And then the next book in my little list that I created is, okay. We're gonna have to take a pause for this one. So, you need to go to Goodreads right now. Immediately. You're gonna type in Medievally Blonde by Kat Jacobs, coming out August 19, 2025, and you're gonna put it on your radar. Because I have to tell you a story about this book. And I am so excited to share this with you because literally I have been following this person for like years. So, let's chat about it. So speaking of all these conventions I go to, I met this girl like 8 to 9 years ago at ALA, her and her dad, and she normally cosplays as Belle and Elsa and, you know, all these characters, and she's stunning. She's such a good, cool, she cosplays the way that I wish I could cosplay. And a couple of years ago, she told me she was writing a book, and she's also a booktuber. Her name's Kat Jacobs. You probably have seen her, like, everywhere. She's adorable. She's lovely. And it's coming out, and I am, like, so excited for this book. Like, literally, I will request it the second I can. I will try to get a signed copy because I love her, and I wait in line with her all the time. So I will be honest, I do know her. Like, I've met her, I'm an acquaintance of hers. She's great. But I'm going to read you the summary, and hopefully will encourage you to look it up and put it on your August TBR, because it's definitely on mine. A princess desperate to win back the prince who broke her heart follows him to his kingdom's prestigious military academy, and in doing so falls in love, saves the realm, and continues to look fabulous in his romantic debut fantasy loosely inspired by Legally Blonde. That is it. That is the summary. You need to go read it. So, yes. And then we're going to have a chat about it. But Medieval Blonde, Kate Jacobs, coming out August 19th. I know what I'm doing that day. It's going to be a late birthday present to myself. I am so freaking excited. So yeah, a little bit of a plug, but very excited for that book. Oh, and then the next book, I actually have to add one if it's not on here. I have to look to see if I added it. I may not have. Yeah, I don't think I added it on here. I'm gonna have to put it somewhere. Okay, I'm gonna have to add one more book on this because I know like what it's called, but there's not a photo of it yet. That's the reason. But I will talk about that at the very, very end. Because Amy Kaufman needs to be on this list. I will tell you that. But the next book is The Enchanted Greenhouse by Sarah Beth Durst. This is the companion book to The Spell Shop, which I loved. Will be featured in my top books of the year. It is coming out July 15th. Here's the pretty cover, and let's chat about it. So, I'm not going to go too much deep into this. I'm just going to tell you guys the summary, but this cover was stunning. Stunning. But this is invites you in a new standalone novel nestled in a faraway brimming with singing flowers, honey cakes, honeyed love, this hardcover, beautiful sprayed edges, which means I'm coming to get it. It's going to be mine. But yeah, that is what this stunning book is, and it's definitely going to be in my collection. And then the next book that we are going to chat about is The Kingdom and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. I need to read her other book, so stay tuned for my list. One of my other lists, because it's going to appear on that. Is The Knight and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. It's coming out May 20th. Here is this pretty photo of it. And this is the summary. It is the next big romantasy sensation, a gothic miscloaked tale of a young prophetess who is forced on an impossible quest with the once infuriating knight whose future is beyond her sight. Ooh, so that one, the cover, as I just showed you, stunning. I have a feeling that someone's going to pick this book up for a special edition, so I'm going to wait patiently, but I want to read her other books, so stay tuned for my other list, because it may pop up in there. Actually, it definitely will. I'm pretty sure it will. But the next book we are going to chat about, okay, we're back at the end. So that was all the books that I chatted about. The last book I'm going to add on here is Lady Knights by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. Does not have a cover yet, or it does. I don't know where I put it, so I can't find it. That is the potentiality to be one of my favorite books of the year. I am reading that book. I just don't have a graphic to show you. So that was my last book. This was a fun video. And yeah, let me know in the comments what you want to see me read first. What books should I read? Is there anything on your list that I haven't mentioned? Any fantasy books I need to add? And then what I do is, as I'm watching everyone's other list, I make my own list of books everyone chatted about that I had not heard of. And that becomes another list in my planner. But this is the list of the ones I found. So I would love to hear your recommendations below. And I will talk to you guys soon for my next video tomorrow with another list.